How U.S. tariffs are costing Stellantis €300 million, impact on global car trade. In a striking revelation, Stellantis, the automotive giant responsible for well-known brands such as Vauxhall, Jeep, and Fiat, has disclosed that the tariffs imposed by former U.S. President Donald Trump have resulted in a staggering loss of €300 million, approximately £259.6 million or $349.2 million. This financial setback stems from the tariffs affecting trade dynamics and the company's inability to meet its production targets as a direct response to these tariffs. Since April, a hefty 25% tariff has been levied on cars imported into the United States, a move that has significantly disrupted the global automotive market and supply chains. This policy has compelled several manufacturers, including Jaguar Land Rover (JLR), to temporarily halt their exports to the U.S. as they navigate the new trade landscape. Stellantis, which boasts a portfolio of 14 distinct car brands, including Alfa Romeo, Maserati, Citroën, Chrysler, and Dodge, reported a 25% decline in shipments to North America during the three-month period leading up to June, compared to the same timeframe in 2024. This downturn is partially attributed to the impact of the tariffs. Additionally, the company noted a 10% drop in total sales during this period, as indicated by preliminary figures for the first half of the year. While Stellantis operates manufacturing facilities within the United States, it also produces vehicles across various regions, including the UK, Europe, Canada, Mexico, and South America. The company has projected revenues of €74.3 billion for the first half of the year, alongside a net loss of €2.3 billion, which accounts for the repercussions of the tariffs. When Trump initially introduced these tariffs, he claimed they would invigorate the American automotive industry. However, just a month later, he relaxed tariffs on foreign car parts, raising questions about the effectiveness of his strategy. In May, the UK government negotiated a deal with the White House to reduce car tariffs to 10% for up to 100,000 vehicles, a significant increase from the previous 2.5% tariff. Other nations are still in discussions with the US regarding trade terms, and Trump has recently threatened to escalate tariffs on the European Union and Mexico if they retaliate against the US tariff policies. Furthermore, he has indicated a potential increase in tariffs on Brazilian exports to 50% unless Brazil drops a legal case against Jair Bolsonaro, a former president and Trump ally facing serious allegations. Stellantis operates 3 production facilities in Brazil, where it manufactures Fiat, Jeep, and Citroën vehicles. The repercussions of Trump's tariffs are not limited to Stellantis. JLR also faced challenges, downgrading its profit forecasts after halting all exports to the U.S. in April, only to resume shipments in May following the UK agreement. Recently, JLR announced plans to cut up to 500 management positions in the UK due to ongoing sales pressures stemming from these tariffs. This situation raises critical questions about the long-term effects of such tariffs on the automotive industry. Are these trade policies truly beneficial for American manufacturers, or do they create more harm than good? We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about the impact of tariffs on global trade? Stellantis shock, $2.7 billion loss from tariffs and more. Auto industry crisis. Imagine the shock of a $2.7 billion loss hitting one of the world's largest automakers. That's precisely the reality Stellantis is facing as tariffs take a massive bite out of their profits. Picture this: new Ram vehicles idling on a Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram dealership lot in sunny Miami, Florida. A sight that might soon become rarer, thanks to financial turmoil. Joe Radel, Getty Images. The automotive behemoth Stellantis, known for iconic brands like Jeep, Dodge, Fiat, Chrysler, and Peugeot, has revealed a staggering net loss of €2.3 billion, equivalent to $2.68 billion, for the first half of the year. This alarming figure stems from pre-tax net charges and the initial impact of U.S. tariffs, as disclosed in their preliminary financial report on Monday. Stellantis had anticipated a first-half net revenue of €74.3 billion, a significant drop from the €85 billion recorded in the same period last year. But here's where it gets controversial: these preliminary figures were released without any financial guidance, which the company halted on April 30. In an unprecedented move, Stellantis chose to publish unaudited financial information for the first half of the year. Why? Because there was a glaring discrepancy between analyst forecasts and the company's actual performance. This financial update underscores the monumental challenges awaiting the newly appointed CEO, Antonio Filosa. He stepped into the role in May after the unexpected resignation of Carlos Tavares, amidst plummeting profits, declining sales, and persistent U.S. market issues. On Monday, Stellantis shares listed in Milan dipped by 1%, somewhat recovering from earlier losses. However, the stock price has nosedived by approximately 38% since the beginning of the year. Let's dive into the tariff impact. Stellantis pinpointed four critical factors that severely affected their results over the first 6 months. 1. Initial steps to enhance profitability. 2. A colossal €3.3 billion in pre-tax net charges. 3. Negative impacts on adjusted operating income due to soaring industrial costs. 4. Fluctuations in foreign exchange rates and the early ramifications of U.S. tariffs. The company braced for an initial tariff-induced hit of €300 million in their first-half results, coupled with planned production losses as part of their strategic response. Mark your calendars, Stellantis' comprehensive financial results for the first half of 2025 are slated for release on July 29. In a revealing call post-preliminary results, CFO Doug Osterman hinted that the full-year impact of U.S. tariffs could escalate to a staggering €1 to €1.5 billion, as reported by Reuters. Stellantis also noted a decline in second-quarter shipments to an estimated 1.4 million vehicles, a 6% drop year-on-year. In North America, the situation is even grimmer, with expected shipments plummeting by around 109,000 units, a whopping 25% annual decrease. This sharp decline is primarily due to reduced manufacturing and shipment of imported vehicles, which are the hardest hit by tariffs, and a slump in fleet channel sales. So, what do you think? Is Stellantis' strategy to combat these financial headwinds sound, or are there better alternatives? Share your thoughts and join the debate in the comments below.